Hello again and welcome to the Larry Shyatt Show. It's great to have you along, and we have some Cowboy basketball to talk about and how. The Pokes with two more big wins in conference play this past week. They've won 4 in a row, 4-2 in the Mountain West Conference, and all alone in 4th place. This was a team that was picked to finish 7th in the league, so the Cowboys moving along nicely. This was a big week for Cowboy basketball. 1 on the road, 1 at home. Let's start with that Air Force game on last Wednesday night, Coach.
Well, Dave, it was an enormous week coming off of a Boise State win, which we hoped would jumpstart us, but you never know. And in the Clune Arena, which we have struggled as some other Mountain West teams have struggled. And I didn't like the seat I had at home in separate rooms with Pam. But I got to tell you, I was so proud of our staff, so proud of our team. Not just that they would play and compete, they've done that all year, but they would wire themselves into a heck of a comeback, down 15, huge hurdle, and did all the right things down the home stretch.
Great effort by the Cowboys, Coach, and you must be very pleased, kind of hit on this a little bit, with your coaching staff as they gathered it together. Alan Edwards had the scout, and he had them scouted perfectly. But that your assistants gathered together and really did a great job coaching that game.
Well, it's a combination. You know, Dunk's been my partner in crime forever. He's going to help in every possible way. It wasn't Jeremy's scout, but I knew he wanted to help Al in every way. And so it was all of them, along with some others, making sure our guys had that never give up, that Cowboy tough attitude on the road. And now we've had a chance to win a few ball games on the road.
Yeah, back to that Air Force game. Wow, what a gut check. It was a grinded out type game, but the Cowboys hit a bunch of free throws, which you have to do to win on the road, and played that great defense throughout.
Well, we lead the league at the free throw line, and that's big, very big. You usually don't talk about or read about free throws unless they come up and bite you. This ball club has walked in there. They've knocked them in when they needed to for the most part, and Air Force was no difference. You know, Junior Hankerson's shot, a runner, really iced the game. That was a big shot. He misses it, Air Force can tie the game under a minute.
Yeah, everybody pitched in that win. And everyone pitched in when the Cowboys came back here on this floor on Saturday afternoon and took on Nevada. Here's a good basketball team, Coach. They were 5-1 in conference play coming to the Arena Auditorium. Little did we know it would go to overtime. This was just, I thought, it was just a fantastic college basketball game.
It was a great college basketball game. And you know, our league has sort of been synonymous with those type of games. You got 4 games a night, and it almost seems like 3 of them come right down to the wire. 2 in overtime this past Saturday. Nevada, very talented team. A confident team, and rightly so. 5-1 in the week. They'd won on the road, 6-2 on the road, so sort of a no-fear Nevada team. Deontay Burton's special in a lot of ways. I actually love him. Reminds me a lot of Jamal last year. He's got that inner arrogance, but he can back it up by playing well. We really dodged a bullet by him getting in foul trouble and ultimately fouling out, but I got to tell you, down the home stretch, our guys did everything they needed to do to win that ball game.
Well, down the stretch in overtime, there was a big shot with 3 seconds to play in overtime that has to rank right up there, Coach. We've seen this time and again. I think it's the 3rd time this year that Larry Nance Jr. has hit a shot with just seconds to play to give the Cowboys a win. And boy, what a shot that was, wasn't it?
Well, you know, he's missed a couple, and we've lost those games. And sometimes you can't make that move. You can't improve to the level you want to without falling a couple of times. And I compliment Larry's demeanor, his disposition, and you know what, he willed that shot in. But I got to tell you, we weren't just going to Larry. We had talked about it in the previous timeout, put the burden on the official. If we can get an attack shot at the rim, take it. Adams tried, could not, and they found Larry off the box on the short corner, and he did the rest of the work.
You have talked about the will of this team all season long and how it has shown and how they band together. There was a little incident in this game that I know that you have discussed. I think it's great that you have. And I thought that incident, you might talk about, I thought it kind of banded the Cowboys together. They did not want that to have any effect on the game, I thought.
Well, you're referring to me losing a little bit of control, and I saw something happen on the court that I hadn't seen in a long time. I did not handle it well, and nor am I happy about that. It wasn't like South Dakota where something came out of nowhere. But you know what? I think you're right. I think our guy had the will. I think our guys knew what to do. They came down the floor, they executed well, and they made sure the only shot that could beat us down the home stretch, those last 3 seconds, was a very difficult one.
Yeah, and what a big win for the Cowboys. And I personally can't understand how all you were trying to do is fix that cowboy hat and get it technical. I mean, it's just amazing to me. But a big win for the Cowboys. 4 in a row. Cowboys are, I just get the feeling they're getting closer and closer to that team that you envisioned. Number one, team. This group has really come together.
They look for each other at both ends. They communicate with each other at both ends. There are times when our guards are heady enough, they can call what they want without just the head coach, which is important if your team's going to grow. I'd still love to see if we could get a Sellers or a Benz or a Halderson a few more minutes, but at this point, we got to like where we're at, and we got to not be satisfied and want more.
Absolutely. A couple of big games coming up this week. We'll be back to talk about those later, and we're back with more on the Larry Shyatt Show right after this.
8 seconds left in overtime. Nance takes a big bump. Right hand hook. Good! It's good! And Perez back the other way. Double pump. Can't get it to go. The Cowboys win it. Larry Nance Jr. with the running hook in the lane. Wow!
Smartphones. Your connection to the world. The possibilities are unlimited, and your plan should be too. With Unlimited Cube from Union Wireless, get talk, text, and high-speed data without limits. Only from Union Wireless.
Welcome back, everybody. Our guest today is, I'm not going to use the nickname.
Please don't.
But he is the Player of the Week in the Mountain West Conference, Larry Nance Jr. Congratulations on that.
Thank you very much.
Well deserved.
Thank you.
I guess starting out, Larry, your dad was here for what, 2 weeks?
He was here for about a week and a half.
A week and a half. Talk a little bit about your conversations, not right after the game, because that's any dad is maybe a little off on that. But do you guys visit much about basketball, or do you try not to when you're not really after a game?
We talk basketball all the time, 24/7. I mean, that's what we both love to do, and he's kind of, since he can't play it anymore, he's kind of living vicariously through me, and now he's always giving me pointers on what I can improve and stuff like that.
You know, I think the great thing about you is that you've really become obviously a very good basketball player, but I think we've seen you mature as a person away from the game. Do you feel that way? And I know your dad would be very proud of that.
Well, thank you, first off. But yes, I definitely think I've matured a little bit more as a person than a basketball player, and I guess that's what college will do to you.
What do you think as we get on the floor here? Where have you become better than maybe you even thought you were going to be? But everybody matures into the game. But where do you believe you've matured most, probably?
Confidence level. I really struggled with confidence freshman year last year, and these coaches kind of pulled me aside this summer and said, all right, for us to be successful, I'm gonna have to do this, this, and this, and that requires me to kind of break out of myself. And I'm really proud of the way I've been able to do that so far.
Are you doing anything now that you weren't quite sure you could do as a basketball player? For example, rebounding. Are you a better rebounder than maybe you thought you could be? Or what facet of the game would that be true?
Definitely rebounding. And I don't think I've ever shot that hook shot before in my entire life. But hey, things happen.
They do. Now, I love that because you told me that the other day. When okay, the clock's running down, you got the ball. Was that just something that you did? Did it cross your mind? What were you thinking about you might do?
Well, when I first caught the ball, I looked and saw A.J. West I knew he had a weak ankle going into the game. And so I knew I was going to attack that ankle, which happened to be the top ankle. And so I attacked it, expecting to get all the way to the basket, but he did a nice job of cutting me off, and that kind of just flowed me right into the hook shot.
As we've gone through, well, not even quite half the conference season. What have you noticed this year about league play that maybe is a little bit better than in the past, or maybe something you didn't expect?
It's just so much closer this year. I mean, a team from San Jose, who's last in the conference, to San Diego. I mean, games are going into overtime and stuff like that, and it's I think on Saturday we had 3 of the 5 Mountain West games going to overtime. So it just shows that there's no huge difference separating any team in the Mountain West, and that's what makes it awesome.
Well, the Cowboys are on a good roll right now, and you've got to feel very good about how they're going. What do you think might be a couple of keys to this winning streak and to how the Cowboys have been playing?
Well, 2 that I can really think of off the top of my head. One would be rebounding, because Nevada really got us on that end when we were down there. And free throws. I mean, these past couple of games we've been shooting excellent from the free throw line, and I really think that's a key contributor to our winning streak.
What's the one question that everybody asks you about your dad that you don't want to hear anymore?
The one question that everybody asks me about my dad: do I mind being called Larry Nance Jr.? That's definitely the top one. And no, I don't mind being called Larry Nance Jr.
You're just the best, and we wish you the best of luck, Larry. It's been a terrific season so far, and I think it's only going to get better.
Absolutely.
All right, Larry Nance Jr., our guest today. Dave will be right back with scouting reports on Fresno State and Utah State right after this.
When you book at flyfrontier.com, you get great stuff.
Like exclusive fares, more miles,
a free carry-on.
You even get to pick your seat.
and everyone likes to pick their seat.
I know I do. Once I picked my seat right smack dab in the middle of...
Stop!
Grizz, we're talking about picking your seat on the plane.
Wait, you pick your seat on the plane? Now that's disgusting.
Get more perks, lower fees, and a free carry-on. Book today at flyfrontier.com.
Welcome back to the Larry Shyatt Show, presented by Union Wireless. Well, next up for the Wyoming Cowboys, the Fresno State Bulldogs in Fresno on Wednesday night, and then Utah State back here in the AA, right here on this floor, 4:05 the tap time on Saturday afternoon. So let's find out about these upcoming Cowboy opponents. We have just the fellas that can get us all filled in. In fact, these two guys are members of the perfect coaching team. They are a perfect 1-0 this season after that Air Force win. It's great to have Alan Edwards and Jeremy Shyatt, Cowboy assistant coaches. And well, here we go again. Cowboys are on a roll, 4 in a row. That makes these games bigger. I always feel like when you're winning, they're even bigger, these upcoming games. Fresno State is next, Coach Edwards, and you have the scout on that one. This is a team that the Cowboys had to go to overtime to beat them here last year. They have had a number of close games this year, we know. What about the Bulldogs? What can the Cowboys expect in Fresno?
Well, I think, and this is credit to Coach Terry and his staff, and I've always admired preparing for them because I feel like they just play hard. 1 through to about 8 guys, just when they're out there, they're just competing, and they've come up short here in the last few games, but their 1-7 conference record does not speak volumes of what they're capable of doing.
Yeah, and we saw what they can do in their place last year, and they're obviously, like most teams, I think they're probably a little bit better on their home court. Very difficult place to To go, that big palace there at the Save Mart, that's a difficult place to play.
It is definitely. Obviously, if you just look back at last year when we went in there, had a tough time scoring the basketball. And I think, again, from a motivational standpoint on their end, we were still playing fairly well at that time. So kind of like what we're doing now on a 4-game winning streak, motivation on their end to just come in and knock us off our horse, so to speak. So again, I think it'll be tough. Like I said, I admire their staff and just how hard their kids compete.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach Shyatt, Saturday afternoon right here in this beautiful palace, the Cowboys will take on Utah State. One of those new members and a outstanding program under Stu Morrill. He's done a great job there. What can the Cowboys expect from the Aggies here on Saturday?
Well, Dave, you hit it right on the head. Obviously they're new to the league, but Coach Morrill is a veteran of the Mountain West, and the way his team plays is a true testament to him. They're extremely well coached, a veteran group, 4 or 5 seniors on their team that really don't beat themselves. They really share the basketball well, and when they're shooting the ball particularly well from 3, I think they're 9th or 10th in the nation in threes. When they're shooting well, they go from a very good team to a great team. So a team that is going to come into the AA, and because of their level of experience, they won't be rattled away from home. And a team that I think that you're going to have a level of discipline in order to get the win.
We see so many defenses nowadays. Heck, the Cowboys are playing a lot of zone, which I never thought I'd ever see, but and playing it well. What about Utah State? What do you expect to see at the defensive end?
Utah State will mix up man-to-man and also a 2-3 zone that they kind of disguise, and it looks like a 1-3-1 type zone, but it's a 2-3. One of the things that Coach Morrill really likes to do is if their team misses a shot, they'll get back into man-to-man, and if they make a basket, they can kind of regroup, and that's when they kind of sit back in their zone. So, definitely a well-coached group, a group that can change on the fly because they've played together for a long time, and a group that, again, we're going to have a level of discipline and toughness in order to get a win at home.
You bet. Should be a great week for the Cowboys, and it's nice finding out about these opponents from Alan Edwards and Jeremy Shyatt, the only coaches in history that are a perfect 1-0 in their head coaching career. We're back with more on the Larry Shyatt Show, presented by Union Wireless, right after this. Welcome back to the Larry Shyatt Show, presented by Union Wireless. The Cowboys next up, 2 more. One on the road, very similar to last week. One on the road on Wednesday night, and then back home on this floor right here against Utah State on Saturday afternoon. Let's start with Fresno State. There's a good basketball team. I know they're hungry. They have played a lot of close games. You said they've all been close. This is a very talented team, Fresno State, coach.
Their last week, very similar to ours. 2 overtime games, one at UNLV. They lose at the buzzer in overtime. And a double overtime game against that same Nevada team we just saw that we had 2 terrific games with. A very hungry team, very talented, extremely athletic, and can really score the ball. I know they had a great first half against Florida early in the year. I talked to Coach Donovan, and he unfortunately had to remind me of the fears that take place with not only their 3-point shooting, but their athleticism.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Utah State, one of the new members coming into the league, and another very talented team, coach. You get them right here on this floor, which is really nice. That's a 4:05 tap time on Saturday afternoon right here in the AA. Stu Morrill's been there a long time, and he's built quite a program.
He's built quite a program. He's built a tremendous fan base, and one of the few teams in our league that's senior dominated. So they've been around the block. They won't be intimidated, but let's hope the crowds continue. We needed them bad the other day, and I'll tell you what, they came through, especially in that overtime.
Really helped the Cowboys, certainly did, you bet. So that's what's coming up this week. 8 p.m. the tap time, that's Mountain Time for the Fresno State game on Wednesday night, and then 4:05 they'll tip it up right here in the AA, the Cowboys and the Utah State Aggies. That'll do it for us. Come back next time and we'll visit with you. This has been the Larry Shyatt Show, presented by Union Wireless. For the coach, I'm Dave Walsh. So long, everybody.